and I decided to show you guys some things about baking pans. So here I have varieties of different baking pans. I have, this is glass baking pan. I hope you guys can see this. Then I have different types of baking pan, both for cake and for bread. I have this for baking bread, and different types of cake pans. I also have this set, and this, all sorts of pans. You see, I have the silicone also, and different types. But for the reason of this, what I want you to learn from this life is that these pans, when you want to bake either bread or cake, it's advisable that you grease it with either oil. This is my oil butter spray, either oil, butter, or cooking spray. That will help you a great deal, because one thing that usually happens most of the time is after baking the bread or the cake or the cookies, meat pies, whatever you baked, will be difficult to come out from the pan. So when you grease it with either oil, cooking spray, or butter, it's going to help you a great deal. Now, if you're baking bread, like I usually would do, I'll just grease the inside with baking with either oil or butter. I'll also grease the lid so that when you cover it, when it's coming out from the oven, it will be easy to pull off. But if you don't grease the lid, it will be stuck. And sometimes I've seen situations where whatever you baked, you have to eat right from the pan because it can't come out. You have to be scooping it out from the pan. So in order to avoid that, it's good you grease your pans with either oil, baking spray, or then I have some pans like this one and this ones, they don't stick at all. No matter what you bake with them, they don't stick. But I would say you'll be opportune to get this kind of pans and you wouldn't know. Some is written non-stick, but they still stick. But some, they don't stick. So to be on the safe side, I will advise you always grease your pans for either baking bread or for baking cake so that when you're through, they can easily come out. Then another thing also I would like to show you how to do is, if when I'm baking cake, these are some of my cake pans. I'll grease this with oil or butter, then I'll apply flour and swirl it around the cake pan. That way it makes it easier to come out, especially for cake. Once you do this, even if you don't use parchment paper, it works. Then if you want to use parchment paper, the easiest way to use your parchment paper is, for example, this is my parchment paper and I have these cake pans here, no matter the one I want to use. So I'll place the parchment paper. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me take this one out of the way. Then I'll place the parchment paper this way, okay, to get the exact measurement for this pan. There are other methods to do it, but this is what I usually do all the time and it works for me all the time. So I'll place the back of the pan I'll be using. Then with a pen, I'll go around it. I've gotten a mark for the pan. Then I'll use the scissors, my kitchen scissors, and go around to cut this out. This is always so helpful for when I'm baking cake and I need to add in parchment paper. So I'll just cut it. So you see, then first, I know there are some cake recipes that you don't have to grease your pan with either of this I've mentioned, either butter or oil. It helps the cake rise better. Yes, I understand that, but most of the cake recipes I make, I always grease mine. So when you've greased it, you now slide it in. You see, you've got the exact measurements for the cake. And I also have this pan, this one, which you have to glide. It will detach from the body like this way. That's after baking. It will detach from the body. So for this type of pan, what I do is that I'll grease only the sides, not this place. Or I can add parchment paper, or I can decide to even grease it. It doesn't matter. So that when you're through baking, it will be easy for it to glide out of your cake pan. So this is one of the questions I get all the time, and I say, let me answer it, let me address it. I hope this video was helpful to you. And remember, at Glory Homemaker, we give you value for your time. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, and have a